Hello, everybody, and welcome to Vicky, Pattison, The Secret To. This week, I am joined by none other than Scouse legend and star of the latest series of MAFS. It's Thomas, everybody! Woo! How are you, Petal?
I'm absolutely marvellous. How are you?
I just got so excited there when I sort of said that because honestly, mate, I've been obsessed with MAFS. So for anyone who has been living under a rock and doesn't know the abbreviation, MAFS is, of course, Married at First Sight UK. Not that long ago, Tom, we had Mel Schilling.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I was watching, yeah. She's great.
Isn't she so lovely?
Yeah, she's marvellous.
Do you find her a little bit intimidating?
At first, I think because you've watched sort of Married at First Sight Australia for so many years. I mean, she's been doing it for 10 years. She's just got this powerful presence, hasn't she?
Yeah, and that's it.
Sexy. She's like that sexy woman that you just like, oh, yeah. I do. Yeah, I suppose you do. Intimidated probably is a good word, but not in like a fearful way, in like a... Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, I feel like when I've said that to you, what's come to my head is that TikTok where it's like, am I intimidating or are you intimidated? And I think it's fucking very fair. Like, I'm actually just intimidated. Like, and it's not like I said it to her and afterwards I totally regretted it because she proper holds you on your bullshit, doesn't she? So she was like, well, what do you mean by that? And I was like, oh shit. What I mean is she has her shit together. She's sexy and confident and articulate and strong and like knows what she wants to say and says it. And I just think those are all things I completely admire in a woman. And when I was faced with them, I was just like, fuck, I don't know whether I want to fucking hide or shag you.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no like, she's such a strong woman and was so inspired by these strong women. As a gay man as well, the gay icons of the gay world are women who are strong. You know, so she's that type of woman who makes you just feel powerful. Yeah.
So I'm so pleased you love her as much as I do. She did amazingly well. And honestly, it made me think, fuck, I'm going to start watching this. So I have. And there's so many episodes. Honestly, mate, I sat down the other night and I was like, it's only just started. How's there already 10 episodes? Fucking hell.
Yeah.
So I'm struggling to keep up. I've seen your wedding. You looked amazing, babe. Congratulations. I mean, right. First of all, first questions first. What made you want to apply for the show?
Do you know what, Vicky? I just think when you're on these apps, and you'll probably know this yourself, and the opener to a conversation is a picture of someone's arsehole, it's not the most welcoming. It's not the most friendly greeting, is it, to be honest with you? And then I just think, well, how the fucking hell am I supposed to respond to that? What sort of greeting do you give back to that?
I don't know where you go from an arsehole. Like,
no. Well, usually it's either a penis or an arsehole, or then something really weird, like someone who's sitting in like an adult-sized nappy. Like that sort of weird shit that goes on.
Tom, what apps are you on, babes?
No, but this is just Grindr. This is just standard Grindr. This is
just run of the mill.
This is just the top-rated downloadable gay app Grindr. This is not like. This is not fetishes for you.
Babes, I'm not fucking surprised you married a stranger. I think I'd marry a stranger if that was my option.
All other opportunities.
Oh, bless you. So obviously you decide. And what was the casting process like? Because I imagine it was quite rigorous because obviously it's a super popular show. It's massive in Australia. It's becoming huge here. I bet you there was, and I know just from like being sort of in my 30s and having some friends be single in their 30s, that there's loads of people that are fed up with the dating scene and looking and are quite, I'd say, as I'd go as far to say, quite desperate to just find the person that they're meant to be with and be in love. So I reckon there was loads of people applied. Was it quite a rigorous process?
Apparently record-breaking. According to the record-breaking numbers applied. And I think for me, the process seemed to go quite smoothly because I literally went into it thinking, right, I've sort of conformed to society for years and tried to be like so quote unquote masculine, or tried to sort of dim myself down a bit to attract men. But if you put an act up, you can't keep it up. So you end up in these relationships where you're not being genuine, they're not being genuine. So I just went in and thought, right, I'm going to be myself. went through it, personality tests, psych evaluations, all of that good stuff. And when I got the call that they'd found me a match, I was like, you are fucking joking me. And then I thought, this is not good. Something's going to happen here now between this and the wedding. Something's going to happen. And then there I am, getting married to a stranger. Yeah.
It's so mad that you said that you spent years trying to be something you weren't, because when I look at you, when I seen you on the show, like when I watched your sort of like introduction bit, I just thought, here's a fella who's always known who he was. And like has been really comfortable with that, and like didn't matter if anyone wasn't accepting, he knew who he was and he was just going to remain true. But you've really struggled with it, have you?
Absolutely. And I think at home I've always been accepted by me family, and you'll see me mother on the show.
Your mum is the best. I love her.
So in family wise, always accepted, always loved. But I come out when I was 15. So I've been out for 16 years, and I've seen times change massively. And I think looking at like teenagers these days, the way they live so openly, it's inspired me, these young queer people who are living in their truth. And I thought, fuck this, if I go on this platform, I'm going to be my authentic queer self. And to be honest, the show and the acceptance and the guidance and all of that from the experts and the producers has let me flourish into the person that I am now. So you know what? Now I don't give a fuck. And I really am as queer as I can possibly be.
Do you know what though, babe? So you should be. Like, you're absolutely beautiful person. And like,
thank you.
I'm so frustrated that I haven't managed to watch all of the episodes, because from what I've seen, I've kind of jumped around. So initially you birthed on, you are bold as brass, you are, in everybody's faces, you were very like unapologetically you. But I feel like I've skipped, right? Because I was so fascinated to find out how you were getting on before today's pod. And I've watched a couple like more recent ones, and I think you're growing and evolving and going on like such a beautiful journey on there. Like who I'm seeing in the more recent ones, I'm like, who is this fucking man? Like you literally, you're transforming, aren't you?
Yeah, and I think that what it was you get, as you know yourself, when you're in relationships and things and you hate and you cheated on or whatever the case might be, you put your guards up and you're like, don't trust anyone, and your first port of call is to go defense.
100%.
But once I found that Adrian was a trustworthy husband, partner, whatever you want to call it, that guard come down, and then that let me sort of calm down a bit, and he was patient and kind and all of them sorts of things. So yeah, I definitely did have a lot of self-development throughout the process.
And that is something I can absolutely relate to. Like, Jesus Christ, I've spent the last 5 years of my life apologizing for things I did like 10 years ago and stuff. And it was because I was put in a position that I'd never been in before on a TV show, and I didn't really have the tools to navigate the new space I was in. I'd had like probably loads of like unresolved anger, trauma, whatever. And I just felt, when I ever felt defensive or attacked, I would be loud and aggressive. I thought, if I'm like this and I put up this boundary, no one can hurt me. So I feel like I totally relate to potentially how you are probably feeling at first.
Definitely. And I think, you're a woman as well. You're part of a minority, or you don't have that male privilege. So people naturally treat women with a double standard anyway. So anything a man does, that a woman does the same, it's treated totally different. So you would always be the worst off, as opposed to someone else who might do it who was a man. So it's one of them, isn't it? And I think, we've all been through things in our life, but it's relative. If you feel like shit from something that's that big, that wouldn't bother me. It's one of them. It's, everyone's got their own trauma, pain, and we just how we work through it.
No, I mean, you're so right, and that's a very like evolved and understanding thing to say. God, you can tell
I'm still a fucking crank.
Oh, well, it's so good. I was so excited to have you on, like, apart from the fact that I'm clearly obsessed with MAFS. Do you know I went to John Moores, Liverpool John Moores?
You never.
Yeah, babe. So I spent 3 years living in Liverpool, and honestly, they were like some of the best years of my life.
Now, Liverpool is just a city into itself. It's similar, really, to Newcastle.
Absolutely.
User friendly and rough as arseholes, and we all come together, and there's a great sense of community in both the cities, and we love you and you love us, and I think it's just
No, I absolutely agree with you wholeheartedly. And I remember thinking, like, I just want to, obviously when you're 18, your thought process is like it's not quite as, so if I was making the decision now, I'd be like, oh, I want to go to the best uni because I want to get the best degree because I want to get the best job. But back then it was like, where is the best night out and where do I fancy the fellas with the accent? So I was like, I'm going to Liverpool. And as well, I did sort of think, you know, oh my God, like Newcastle's one of the best nights out in the city. I need to find somewhere that can give it a run for its in the world. Sorry, give it a run for its money. And Liverpool certainly did that, me. So are we a similar age, Tom? I'm 34.
How old are you? 31.
Okay, so sort of similar. So right, did you go to Garland's?
Oh God, yeah. Of course I did. I can't remember leaving Garland's half the time. And usually when you come out, you'd see like your mum's mate on the way to work and be like, oh, hiya. And you'd be like that, trying to get a taxi at the sides of the street.
Just like glitter down your face.
Yeah, glitter, snot, space, everything. You'd be like, where am I?
One shoe on only.
Oh, no shoes on? No shoes, no knickers. And, and bits of stale ale and kebab down your top.
Honestly, I had such a good time. I'm trying to think where else I went. So we'd go Garland's on a Thursday, and then like if we didn't feel like the night out was over, which quite frankly it really always was, we just weren't willing to let go.
No, absolutely.
Stumbled across into G-Bar. Yeah.
Oh
G-Bar.
God, G-Bar is the centre of Liverpool's after party. That's where everything goes down, isn't it? It's your feet stick to the floor. It's one of those classic fabulous, you've got some 100-year-old drag queen in the booth, you know. It's amazing. It's amazing.
And honestly, I knew you were going to share all of my excitement and stuff, because you mentioned on the show like you are so proud to be Scouse, and like
absolutely
so much of a big part of who you are. How did it feel when obviously you met your husband and he was Scouse but had moved away? Did you feel a bit shocked? Was that hard for you to get your head around? Because you're just Liverpool through and through.
When I heard like a twang of his accent, I thought, oh, he's a Scouser. But then he talked like this, and I thought, hold on, our accent is like cement with metal underneath it. You can't break it. So why are you talking like that? And I thought, what are you talking like that for? But at first, and I think as he was around me more, his accent becomes stronger again. But to me, I thought I could move to fucking Beirut and my accent wouldn't change. So I didn't get it. And I'm very Liverpool and proud. So it is. It's one of them things. I was a bit like, but yeah.
Honestly, I mean, I always thought my accent was going to go nowhere, and I was like proud Geordie, and I still consider myself to have a very strong accent. But I went on a podcast the other week with a fella who's still living in the northeast, and he was like, your accent has definitely softened. I think it sort of happens subconsciously sometimes, even when you don't want it to, just because you need everyone else to understand you, don't you?
Well, fuck them. If they don't understand me, you can put subtitles up, can't they?
I remember the first show I did after Geordie Show was called Judge Geordie, and it was MTV, and it was.
Oh, I remember that.
Remember? And I used to drive up and down the country solving everyone's problems, and it was mad stuff like me fella's addicted to porn, or I fucking fallen in love with me hamster. It was always weird shit. They were brilliant. But my driver, my mate, was a fella from Liverpool, a lovely lad called Alex Cannon, and his accent is strong. And I remember the first time we saw the show, and they subtitled him. And I was thinking, you fucking sly bastards.
You know, I know, but you know what? It is true, because you know, when I post TikToks, obviously TikTok's a universal platform. There's people from like all over the world commenting underneath saying, are these Scottish, these people? Are these Irish, these people? And I'm thinking, are you fucking joking? It is what it is, I suppose.
It is, babe, you know, and like we've established we're not changing for anyone, so keep doing it.
Oh, no, we're not.
When I put up on my Instagram that we're having you on the pod today, everyone was so excited. But I got a question of it popped up quite a lot, and that was, how have you reacted to the editing of the show, in particular the earlier episodes? Like, do you think you've been done an injustice? Like, was it a hard pill to swallow, or were you just like, actually no, that's me and I've got to fucking take it on the shit?
You know what you've got to remember with these things is, even though you might not like that that's being shown, those words, they can't edit that coming out your mouth. You've said it. So you know, there's no false narrative created. You're condensing a 15-hour filming day with eight couples filming down to 1 hour.
Yeah.
It's not just you sitting there having a conversation. So now you've got to know what you're going into. You're putting yourself out there. You know, not everyone's going to like you. You could be Princess Diana. Not everyone's going to like you.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. And I think, no, I don't feel like there's been an injustice done by the edit. I lived it. And for me, no, I accept everything. Even if it comes out and I'm the most hated fucking person in Britain, I'm not going to blame the edit. No.
Okay.
Hello.
Is this Milo? You go see?
Has he got a question?
Question from the fluffy boy at the back.
Oh.
I think he's heard his daddy coming home, at least he should.
Oh.
Mate, you know, like, I obviously started in reality TV, didn't I? Still love reality TV, clearly. But it took me something like 10 years to be that accepting, to be that, you know, as like to be as mature as you are now. And obviously, granted, I was like 21 or whatever when I first started it, but it's mad how quick you've just understood it all. And I think, like, if I could have just got to that thought process sooner rather than looking to blame others and, you know, being really angry and stuff, I would have had probably a much better time. So like, well done, basically, is what I'm
I think as well, you know, I'm 31 now. I've said and done a lot of things in my life that I would apologise for, by all means. But, you know, being funny and taking the piss out of people and all that is part of my day-to-day life. I didn't self-edit. I said what I wanted, and they've put it in, or they haven't put it in, and that's entirely up to them. They've got to create a TV show, and they've done a fucking good job of it.
Oh, have they not? I'm obsessed.
And it's broken records. So it's broken records, and, you know, I just think, just ride the wave or don't. You know, I'm not personally going to say the edit did me dirty, because they never.
I fucking said it, right?
I fucking told them. And that's what he is.
Right, so let's just rewind it back to the first moment you saw Adrian. How did you feel? Really?
Horrified.
Right, what is your type properly?
Right, so I'll tell you it like this. This is probably an easy way to explain it. When they ask you what your preference is, they ask you what a celebrity crush would be. Now, I said, these are the three that I give. Idris Elba. Idris Elba. Omari Hardwick from Power.
Yeah.
Or, I think the last one was Michael B. Jordan. Now, if you can tell me that whether there is any similarities between Adrian and those men, I will eat my fucking hat.
Oh, God. So basically, Mel just woke up and chose violence then, did she?
I think Mel has gone like this. In the physical sense. In the emotional sense, we obviously, as you've seen in the most recent episodes, our relationship has definitely developed. And I think what the experts do is they give you what you need rather than what you'd actually ask for.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And that's it sometimes. Like, you know, obviously I didn't meet Erkan on a dating show or whatever else, but right when we first started going out, I'd obviously had this really public big breakup, hadn't I? And every dating show wanted us. So they wanted us for First Dates Hotel, they wanted us for Celebs Go Date, and like, and they were chucking big money at us as well, you know, and I was thinking, fucking hell, like, I've only just started dating this lad, like, he was auditioning for Love Island last year, like, am I mad? Should I be doing these things? But in the end, I decided that I was going to stay true. I thought there's something worth pursuing with Erkan, and obviously I was so right, because he's fucking the best. But I remember thinking, like, he is nothing like I'd pick for myself. Like, what are you doing? Obviously, he's gorgeous, mate, you know, he's calm. He's like, he's not very loud. He's quite quiet. He's all these things. And he's like the polar opposite of everything I'd gone for in a fella before, you know. I'd gone for loud, like a bit obnoxious, like very opinionated. I thought it had to be all these things to deal with me, you know. And actually, everything I didn't think I needed was everything I really did. And that's it's mad. We came to that naturally, you know, but these experts, they're not daft, Tom.
They're not
No,
daft.
they're experts for a reason. So I know Adrian is not Idris Elba.
Absolutely fucking not now.
But he's obviously got really amazing qualities that you did need.
Absolutely amazing qualities, yeah.
Okay. Oh God, I didn't think I was ever going to stop laughing after that. But please, can I have you back in part 2? I'm going to get there. I'm going to get a bit of an update on how you guys are doing now and get the gossip on your other castmates. Hello everybody and welcome back to part 2 of Vicky, Pattison and Secret 2. This week I am joined by probably the biggest star from MAFS UK this series. Like, honestly, babe, like when I said I had you on, my Instagram just kicked off like, ding, 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 ding. Everybody had so many questions for you.
Please.
And by the way, are you loving it though? Like,
oh my God,
yeah,
I'm loving it. Do you know what as well? I think it's given me a platform to be able to speak about social issues that bother me.
Yeah,
like I've always done social things anyway, but obviously it's on much when you've got that audience, it gives you a chance to be able to speak about it more. So I'm loving the love, and I'm loving watching the show because it's fucking hilarious. But I'm also just loving the chance to be able to use my voice for the greater good. You know what I mean?
that's really nice. Ah,
yeah,
you're a good egg, Thomas.
Well, I'm a scrambled egg, but it tastes nice.
I love a good scrambled egg. So first of all, and this is a brilliant question here, because honestly, I watched it and I was like, shut the fuck up. So how did you manage to keep your cool with Adrian's best friend at the wedding?
I didn't keep me cool with her. But to be fair, I mean, I did think when she wasn't very smiley to begin with anyway, so I did think, oh, she's not a bit of me. Yeah. And also she hadn't washed her hair for the wedding, so I thought that was a bit shitty. I thought, fancy turning up to your best mate's wedding, washing your hair with fucking Vaseline. Anyway, when she was but I did in the end, I said to her, I'm not here to talk to you about these things. I mean, why does she want to know how many fucking kids I want? What difference does that make? That's a conversation you have with your husband. My mum was like that. Do you like dogs? Do you like what? She's not asked as long as I'm happy. It seemed like she was more invested in that than just it being a friendship. Like, calm yourself down.
Do you think she's got a bit of a thing for Adrian?
Doesn't the fucking whole British public watch the show? Am I alone in that judgment?
Fair enough, babe. But I mean, you definitely held your own, so well done there.
Absolutely.
If you had to marry another MAFS woman or man, who would it be? Other than Adrian, of course.
The person who I would marry would be PJ. Because he was obviously, I mean, no, of course he's physically incredibly beautiful, but also aside from that, he is one of the most genuine, lovely, kind men who just want the best for everyone. And he's obviously got a massive penis because he's
Oh, it's all about the schlong.
Absolutely. You've got to live with it for the rest of your fucking life. It is all about the schlong.
Can you tell me if you've seen Adrian schlong?
No.
You can't tell me. Oh, damn it. I bet you he's got a lovely penis, though.
Oh, I bet you he has.
Yeah. Do you know what? Everything else about him is really lovely. So I'm sure
it is indeed. Yeah.
Lovely as well. I feel like you'll answer me this. Who is the fakest person on MAFS?
April.
There's just no love lost between you and her, is there?
I mean, she's verging on sociopathic. It's like it's so calculating and manipulative the way that she is. It literally is. It's just it's hard to watch. When you have to force tears out that much that it makes your eyes look like they're having a shit, it really is, you know, it's concerning. It's really concerning that you are so void from any sort of genuine emotion. That's concerning.
Do you know, it's such a shame with those two. Like, obviously, I don't know how it works out and stuff. I'm glued like everybody else. But on first impressions and looking at them as a couple, which is, you know, what obviously when
we
we're
all
watching,
do.
yeah, you do. And when we were just watching the weddings, we haven't seen how you match sort of personality wise or how you get on. You know, it's just basically like, God, they look good together. Her and her fella looked so good together.
Aesthetically beautiful.
Honestly, like a Barbie and Ken,
honestly,
I was.
And you can't take that away from them.
No.
You cannot take that away from them. But I feel like George maybe wasn't ready, and she had a different agenda.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, honestly, one of the questions I asked Mel when she was on, because I saw when we first had Mel on, the promo had just started. So all your gorgeous pictures were all just coming up, you know. And underneath the posts, I saw a lot of people saying things like, you've ruined the show, you're just looking like Love Island now, loads of gorgeous young people who are just in it for a boohoo deal or a teeth whitening contract, like bring back the old man. And I asked Mel, you know, I said, like, how are you dealing with that criticism? And she was like, honestly, Vicky, she's like, watch the show, because we're not Love Island. We are so different. People there are genuinely looking for a connection. People are there because they want to find a husband, a wife, whatever, man or woman of their dreams. And you need to say that. And I was like, I completely am wanting that to be the case. And I do think it is now I've watched it. But you definitely think there's some people who have got an agenda, who are there for not just finding love.
The Love Island thing, you know, first of all, most of us are too old to ever be in Love Island. Second of all,
aren't we all, mate? Aren't we all?
Yeah, exactly. But they're also not diverse enough to have the likes of me, because I'm gay. It's not inclusive. Love Island is not an inclusive show in that sense.
Yeah.
And in terms of age, it's not inclusive. In terms of size, it's not inclusive. So for me personally, I wouldn't touch Love Island with a shitty stick. But I enjoy the show for entertainment value. In terms of agenda, you only have to Google the likes of April or Jess to see that they've done television before for years. Well, yeah, April's been on about 5 shows, I think.
No, what's April done?
The Bachelor.
Did you?
So let's go dating as a dater.
No.
What was the other? Or was it X in the City or something? I don't know. Some show like that where you come on as like a guest, whatever it is. And then The Cabins.
No.
Yeah.
Oh God, I didn't know that. She is so gorgeous. Like, I'd put her on the telly. Fuck.
I mean, I'd put her on the telly, but I wouldn't put her on the telly with someone who's genuinely looking for a marriage. I think that's...
Oh, George is so looking for love, isn't he?
Clearly, yeah.
Oh, do you know what though? Like, I feel like George is not going to struggle to find another wife if it doesn't work out with April. He's a fucking lovely bit of kit, isn't he?
Oh, absolutely.
He gives me real man vibes as well.
He does, but he's also got that sensitive side to him too.
Oh yeah, and you know toxicity.
What Vicky, the older the berry, the sweeter the juice.
Oh, George, if only you could hear one now, son. You do think he's a little bit insecure as well, isn't he?
I think he's just really, really invested, and I think he really wants to find love. And unfortunately, you know, that can sometimes be to the detriment of your own morality and personality, because you just want it so much.
Yeah, you can compromise who you are to make something work with someone.
And we've all done it. I've
been there, mate. I remember with certain ex-boyfriends, I've ended up being like a shell of myself, because they didn't like me being the center of attention. They didn't like me being loud. They didn't like certain things that were actually so intrinsic to me that I ended up being someone I wasn't anymore. Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
Do you know what? Just think it's important you know this, babe, because I know there's 2 sides to every coin, and you probably are getting some comments that aren't like the nicest in the world, but every single person in my Instagram loves you and says you're amazing, you need your own show, you and Adrian are brilliant, you're the voices of reason, and they want to see more of you. So I hope you know that you are loved.
Thank you, Vicky. I appreciate that. And to be honest with you, the negative comments is maybe 1 in 1,000. And my approach is sort of, you know, thank you for taking time out of your day to write about me, because I don't give a flying fuck about you.
Honestly, that is the exact right attitude to have. I say this all the time. Like, you're never gonna people please your way into collective acceptance. You know, not everyone is always gonna like you, and you can be the most inoffensive, kind person in the world, you know, and you're always just gonna still get someone. So I just think it's far better to just do you, be happy, and then please the people who are in your corner, please your people, you know.
I agree.
Mate, here we've started playing this little game, right? And it's always good. I feel like some people are they don't want to give me their real opinions, but I don't think that's going to be a problem with you.
Hell no.
Right, okay. I've got a list of your cast members, your fellow MAFS husband and wives, and I want you to tell husband and wives. I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to your head, your opinion. Okay, are you ready?
Can we use any words at all, or is the banned words on this podcast?
No, you're on my podcast, mate. You can say absolutely fucking anything you want. Right, I'm going in balls to the wall for the first one. Whitney.
How quick is that as well, cunt?
Oh, we're going to be in trouble with that woman who complained about me.
Well, tell that woman that she can fuck off. She doesn't have to listen.
So Whitney's very divisive. Like, from the get-go, me and my mate have been watching it, and we're like, God, did she know what show she was signing up to do, you know? Because she doesn't seem open to the experiment at all. She seems really angry about it. It's like she thought she was doing Love Island or something and turned up and it ended up being Married at First Sight, you know? What is she?
But I think any dating show she turned up to for love, she wouldn't have been received very well with that sort of attitude, would she? You know, it's very difficult when there's other people in it. It's not just about her. And I know she's definitely a damaged person, clearly. And she does go on a journey throughout and perhaps take the ice off a little tiny bit, but she's still it's still ingrained in her that she's just not a very nice person, and that's who she wants to obviously portray, because why would you be so nasty otherwise?
I really do hope, obviously I've got loads of the show still to watch, that she thaws slightly and comes out of her shell and we see a different side, because it's difficult at the moment to love Whitney.
It is.
And I think that's a shame.
It is a shame.
Very different now, going into Shanita.
Wonderful.
See, you guys have had a little bit of a rocky time, but you're on good terms now, are you?
Amazing terms. I'd say, unfortunately, that sort of drama that was in the show, it really prevented us from being able to explore the friendship that we initially had, and it's a shame, but we have definitely made up for lost time.
Oh, good. And I love that. And her fella's from up my neck of the woods, isn't he?
He is indeed, Darlington. Yeah.
Is he a nice man? Because he seems like a nice man.
Yeah, he is. He's lovely.
Oh, I love hearing things like that. Yes. Next up, even though I feel like I already know the answer, is April.
Fame hungry, is that one word?
Yeah, you can have it, son. I'll give it to you.
Desperate, fame hungry, like very strange liar. I don't really know. There's a plethora of words that I could use. I could write a fucking book.
Absolutely no love lost, though.
None whatsoever.
And is the feeling mutual? Does April not like you either?
Oh, she'd never say. She doesn't like confrontation, apparently.
Oh, okay. Well, she's
a beauty queen, fraud, isn't she?
Next up, Duka.
Duka is, I can't do this in one way because he loves the sound of his own voice, but Duka is he's like a walking self-help book. Right. And he loves to go, he's like, if he entered a pageant, he would win, but he's also got the kindest heart, and he really does care about his friends, and he checks in, and he's a good egg, and he's fucking gorgeous looking as well.
Oh, he's so handsome. So I really thought, because obviously Whitney had made it sort of known initially, hadn't she, that she was she had quite a tall order when it came to the physical appearance of our husband to be. So when I saw they'd matched her with him, I was thinking, yes, like there's nobody in their right mind could argue that he's a gorgeous fella, but she still had criticisms, and I was like, I hope he's got good self-worth and confidence, because otherwise she's gonna destroy him.
I did think it wore him down to an extent. And I think it was sad to see, when they had the first commitment ceremony where she stormed off. He was really, it was hard to watch, and I think he holds his emotion in, and he wants to, you know, not talk about things like that. It's difficult for him, but he is a really lovely person.
Oh, mate. Do you know, his little mum and dad, so Erkan's mum and dad are Turkish Cypriot.
Yeah.
And they just remind me so much of his little mum and Duka's mum and dad.
And it's the story as well, isn't it? And, you know, fleeing war and starting your life again, and the trials and tribulations of being, you know, an immigrant or a refugee. It's so difficult for them. And my heart goes out to him and his parents and all of the things that they'll have had to overcome.
What was there any truth in, because I've watched the bit, you know, where Whitney's like, I'm finding it really hard to trust him because I know he said he's going to like clean up after this is finished and stuff. Was there any truth in that? Was he thinking he was going to be a top shagger when the show was finished? No, there's not.
Well, I'm not being funny. I think if he was a top shagger, he'd have been a top shagger before because he's gorgeous. Yeah. He wouldn't have, you know, I don't think there was any agenda with him. I think he was genuinely invested, because I imagine living with her, you could not, no matter how much you wanted to be famous, even April couldn't have fucking lived with her.
Oh my God. Next though, Jess. Yeah.
Troll.
Oh my God. So she's not on the Christmas card list, no?
She's not on the Easter list. Oh my, mind you, she is on Halloween because she's one of the fucking Sanderson sisters. So I'll send her a pumpkin. Shit in it first.
And finally, PJ. I think we all know how you feel about him, but go on.
Just a perfect man. Perfect man, perfect son, loves his family. He's got a lovely little boy. He works really hard, and you know, I think, he's just perfect. He really is. I haven't got a bad word about him.
You should see your little face light up.
Oh, I love him, and he loves me, so it's mutual.
Oh, bless. Well, I'm fucking pleased. It must be it's obviously such a surreal experience, and there are so few people, especially in this country, who can actually relate to the specific journey that you've gone on. It must be nice to be forging very genuine friendships with the people you're doing it with, because not many people can understand what you're going through.
Absolutely, and you do get a sense of dysfunctional family, and then there's the sort of cliques that you form, and then the cliques change, and then there's little dramas and little fires here, little fires there. And to be honest with you, I've got a massive mouth, obviously, and love to, and will say exactly what I think, and that often can lead to people thinking that you're stupid and will take advantage of you because you're saying everything that you say. But I still have respect for all of them in some capacity, and you know, I hope that they go on and achieve it, whatever it is that they want to achieve. Whether it's a marriage or not, you know, that's it.
Aren't you lovely? We've just had a hot off the press, a celebrity question in from Ryan Sampson, star of Brassic. He wants to know, what is your most extreme item of flamboyant clothing? Because for him, the sparkly Speedos were an absolute highlight.
Well, that is mild. That's what I'll say, first of all. Secondly, I have just filmed another little show, a little after show, and I look like a French rent boy. So he's got that to look forward to. And if he heads over to my Instagram, he will see much slussier get-ups. But day to day is just me in gym stuff, relax and whatever. But when night comes, so does the haul that comes with it.
Mate, I was watching that episode the other night with my pal. We both had a bad day, and she'd come round, and I was making dinner, and I just looked up and I went, "Is he fucking naked on that paddleboard?" I thought you had your dick out.
It was like a Britney sort of like Speedo with like jewels on, and my friend had made it, and I was hoping to get lucky on my honeymoon. Clearly fucking not, and they went to waste. But you know, I still wore them.
Oh, honestly, babe, I thought they were amazing. And obviously, after I give it a little bit more closer viewing, I was like, oh no, they've got rhinestones on. They're just a bit flesh colored. Good for you, though.
Yeah.
Good for you. Like, this is all just part of, though, you being your super unapologetic, most authentic self. And I loved it when you just said, I'm just going to be really fucking gay.
Yeah.
because I think, like, you know, there's so much pressure on people to be palatable, essentially, to tone down who they are for mass audiences.
Yeah.
But you are going against that grain.
I'm going against the grain because I want to be visible for LGBTQ plus people. And I think when I went into it, it was obviously for the husbands, and I can genuinely say that hands on heart. But I think realising that I could then use the platform to wear T-shirts that said boys can be princesses too, to wear T-shirts that said I am the gay agenda, to be my unapologetic self, and for afterwards to have such traction from trans people, from gay people, from non-binary people, from a plethora of people, and give them hope to be able to live. You know, I think that visibility is the most important thing. And if people see me and can accept me, then it means that there's hope for the future for others.
And that's it, you know, like it's such, I mean, I'm talking about it in the broader sense, right? But visibility, representation, it matters. It is so important. Obviously, one of the biggest, like, hottest topics of conversation at the moment is Halle Bailey is now playing the Little Mermaid, isn't she? And in the Disney cartoon, the original, she was red-haired and white, but now she's like, you know, this gorgeous dark-skinned woman. And people are showing all these gorgeous TikToks of young Black girls, young girls of color reacting to seeing somebody that looks similar to them up on the TV, and it's beautiful. So yeah, just to echo your sentiments, mate, like, I think keep doing what you're doing, because it's so important for everybody, no matter who they are, no matter what walk of life they're from, no matter what skin color, no matter what sexual orientation, to feel like they are being represented in the media, on TV, in magazines, on Instagram, and you're doing a great fucking job, mate.
Thank you so much. That means the world to me. It really does.
Well, you're welcome. I just could talk to you all day.
I could fucking talk to you all day.
Do you know
that accent gives me a fancy.
Do you know where I used to live? So I used to live above the Flute on Hardman Street.
I fucking love that pub.
Yeah.
Shithole, but I like it. You used to be able to get a picture of WKD or Cheeky Vim 2 for about £7.
Oh, don't I know it? And so then we used to go, I used to steal toilet roll from the Scream Bar at the opposite end.
I don't blame you. Beggars, listen, fucking hell, cost of living crisis, my love. Students.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't know how they're going to cope, the poor bastards. Right, before, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. And before I let you go, I've got one final thing.
Yeah.
How on earth, babe, did you react when Jonathan started talking about his wife's weight?
I just thought, fucking hell, you are fucking deluded. And I also thought, you are a man. Why are you talking about women's bodies? Too many fucking white, old, fat fucking men make decisions on women and what they do with their body. You haven't got a womb, you haven't got ovaries, you haven't got estrogen, and you don't give birth to children. So shut the fuck up. That's what I think.
I was so shocked at that moment, because I watched it this morning, obviously trying to do my research, and I really felt like it was I saw a reel. I feel like it was like you and Adrian kind of switched. He didn't keep his cool and composure, but you were so cool and like articulated yourself so well. And I thought, these two are learning from each other, and we are.
But I think if you keep watching, there's a lot more to come with that scenario.
Well, I'm not surprised, because his views were absolutely terrible, weren't they?
Well, and what I do go on to call them, and this is just a little one-line spoiler, is prawn dick energy.
Please say you made a t-shirt then and wore it afterwards as well.
What, with prawn dick energy on it? Oh, it's coming.
Good. That's me boy. Mate, I know you can't tell us if you and Adrian are still together, but like from the bottom of my heart, like regardless of what happens with you in a real romantic sense, I just wanted to say, I think you're one of my all-time favorite couples I've ever seen on TV. Oh. You're bringing out lovely things in each other, and you deserve happiness, both of you.
Well, I think you're absolutely fabulous as well, and I've watched you for years, and it's so lovely to get to chat to you. And I think you're an icon and a legend and all of them things.
Oh, mate, we're definitely going to have drinks soon, because you're
we will.
Too fab. If you're ever in London, give me a shout. I'll send you my number.
I will.
Fabulous.
I will indeed.
Last little bit here at Vicky Pattison Secret 2. We always ask our gorgeous guests to give our lovely listeners a little pearl of wisdom. And what you've done, whether everybody acknowledges it or not, is brave. You've put yourself out there and been unapologetically you in a way that's probably given hope to so many different people. And I think that's really inspirational. So you're welcome, honestly, I mean it. So I want to know what your secret is to taking the plunge.
My secret to taking the plunge is life's too fucking short. You know, we've just come out of COVID, we've just come out of all them sorts of things, and I think you only get one life, and you see people who've really got no opportunity at all. So just take chances where you get them and enjoy it and laugh.
And that's it. Like, life is too short to be scared or hesitant or, you know, not saying. It is. Like, and I just think that's such a lovely way to live your life.
It is.
Oh, Tom, been such a pleasure talking to you, mate. I wish you the very best of luck in your marriage, with your career, with everything.
Well, I hope to speak to you again very soon.
Oh, you fucking definitely will. I've made a friend for life.
You have indeed.